morning. Hey everyone. I'm kind of just trying to update my YouTube channel here. I am hot and sweaty because I've been cleaning and I've been outside in the yard this morning. So forgive me for being shiny because I shine. Um, anyway, which can be a good thing, I guess, figuratively and literally. But anyway, I just wanted to update the followers I have on YouTube to kind of give a from here, or go back a little bit, and then from here to what we're going to do futuristically in the near future. A few months ago, well, several months ago, I was beginning to do recaps of a few of my favorite shows. I did Greenleaf, and I believe I was doing Empire. Don't quote me on that. I believe, but definitely, but for sure, I was doing Greenleaf. I absolutely love Greenleaf. And I kind of just fell off the map and really wasn't even corresponding with other YouTubers that I followed their recaps as well. And the reason being is because earlier this spring, I was diagnosed with a rare brain disorder called Chiari Malformation. Yeah, I know. I look normal, right? Well, 2 months ago, I had brain surgery for this rare brain disorder on August the 9th. If by chance you happen to have me on Facebook, feel free to look through my Chiari Chronicles album. And that is a public album, so you can look that up as well, even if we're not Facebook friends. But anyway, I will be posting some of that here at some point. I can't really give a timeline on that, but I will be. So that was what was going on. Chiari Malformation is a rare and incurable brain disorder, where it kind of causes, it doesn't kind of cause, it does cause a great deal of physical pain, headaches, neck pain was a big thing for me, tremors, sudden onsets of not being able to speak, not being able to use my limbs, being very numb, and having nerve pain pretty much the majority of the day, every day. And Chiari kind of took my life on a downward spiral. And with doing YouTube videos and stuff, I never knew when I was going to have these onsets of symptoms where I couldn't speak, or I would suddenly have like absent seizures and things like that. So I could not trust my body enough to continue to do these things. Not only that, I was freaking exhausted all the time. There was never enough rest that I could get to have energy, so to speak. Even doing reviews and stuff, if you look back through my YouTube, you'll see I did a few reviews on things, and yeah, like I just didn't have the energy. I didn't trust my body. I didn't trust my mind. I didn't trust the ability to complete something, especially if I would have went live. Like even doing live on Facebook, I kind of slacked back from. It had to be a time where I knew my body was at a high point before I would trust it enough to say, hey, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go live. But yeah, so Chiari is something that I have dealt with, honestly, for the last several years. However, I was misdiagnosed with fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis first. And then it became a matter of having neuropathy, which also is a part of those two things for a lot of people. So I'm a military spouse. We moved back here on the East Coast in December of last year. So we've been back here on the East Coast for almost a year now. And up until that point, I wasn't having the headaches. I wasn't having face pain. Well, I began to have face pain. I started having like face drooping, sudden onsets of not being able to speak, not being able to move, not being able to stand on my own. The symptoms of not being able to get out of bed by myself because I was in such pain. It's like my body was locked on me, or numb, completely numb. Like my limbs were numb. I couldn't lift my arms. I would have to have my husband or kids to like move my arms for me to kind of wake them up because it felt like my hands and arms were asleep. But anyway, so once I started to have this headache, pretty much stationary on one side, like a positional headache, my face was hurting. Also, I had nasal polyps, and which I don't have them anymore. A tip for that, if you deal with nasal polyps, is I used tea tree oil on a cotton swab, rubbed it inside my nostrils, and it shrank them. Haven't had any issues with that. So I'm not a medical professional, so you can try that at your own risk. Feel free to look it up and see if it's something that you would like to do. But anyway, back to the point. I had the nasal polyps, and it kind of scared me because my father had nasal polyps when his brain tumor was discovered. So I was like, oh my God, do I have a tumor like my dad? I went to the doctor because I was having all these symptoms that also were tumor symptoms. The headache, the face, the eye, the sudden not being able to speak, so forth and so on, right? So I go to my doctor here, who I had before, when we lived here prior, and I explained to her, my nurse practitioner, explained to her that all this stuff was going on. And she was like, I can tell you 3 things. She said, either you do have a tumor, MS, multiple sclerosis is an option. We're going to check you for brain lesions. And I was like, well, I already been checked for that. Like last year, I didn't have any lesions on my brain because I was being checked pretty much yearly to see if I was having these lesions to appear finally because my fibromyalgia was so strong, right? So anyway, and the only thing between fibromyalgia and MS that's the difference is you have brain lesions with MS, and with fibromyalgia you don't. They're practically identical is what medical professionals will tell you. But anyway, so yeah, she was like, you either have MS, you have a brain tumor, or you've had a stroke and it's left damage. Okay, so they call me and tell me, hey, we want to move your appointment up to follow up for your results of your CT scan, because that's what she sent me for first, was a CT scan. And I knew from them wanting to move it up, okay, obviously we had bad news. So the bad news on the CT scan was that I had inflammation on my brain. So there was definitely something going on there. She wanted to do an MRI from there. So from the MRI, it showed not a tumor, not MS. It was not a stroke. It was Chiari Malformation. And my doctor sits there and tells me, you have Chiari Malformation type 1. So we're going to get you to a neurological specialist, a neurologist, and we're going to get you to a neurosurgeon. I was like, okay, but when I heard neurosurgeon, I was like, so what is it like? Like, what is it like? What are you saying that I have wrong with me? And I was like, so there's like medicine or something they have to give me? And she's like, no, there's no magic pill we can give you for this. I'm going to let you see these specialists because this is a rare incurable thing. There's nothing I can do. There's no magic pill. There's no shot I can give you. There's no nothing. And I'm sorry. She was like, I'm so sorry. And my doctor had tears in her eyes because I'm the only patient they've had that's had this. And whenever I go in the office, I'm always like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, even if I'm in pain, I'm bubbly. And she had seen me kind of get to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm telling you jokes, but I'm hurting like hell. And she saw that, like, I wasn't bubbly as bubbly as I had been prior. Put it that way. And in that day of them revealing to me what was going on with me, it was kind of like, are they telling me I'm dying? Like, I'm not sure. You know, it was just a lot of uncertainty, and I didn't cry that day. It actually took several weeks for me to break down, and I actually broke down on a live on Facebook when I was organizing a Conquer Chiari Walk Across America, which is something else that kind of kept me away from YouTube because I was planning that walk. And I also had brain surgery August the 9th, like I said. But it's been a journey. Since the surgery, I have had a tremendous turnaround. Awesome, awesome, awesome results. It is not a cure. I still have hearing issues. excuse me, some things I cannot digest. So I'm still watching what I eat because vomiting and severe diarrhea were a part of the symptoms that I was having also. Um, Gagging so much so I couldn't even stand to brush my teeth without gagging and puking. So it was very, very rough for a while, just to mention a few things. My hearing and my in the ear pain is the only thing I really still suffer from. My eyes have turned around. What I mean by that is they haven't turned around in my head. But my vision was very, very, very disturbed. Now I'm able to see pretty much better most days without my glasses, my reading glasses, than I would be with them. Because to me, my vision looks worse with the glasses on versus them being off. So, yeah, like I've had an awesome turnaround here. I am still seeing a specialist for my hearing. Hopefully, I'm able to get that handled because it's like high frequency sounds are the main thing that disturb me. And that's like a special part of a sub condition that kind of goes with Chiari. And I'll kind of get into that stuff a little later. But I just want you guys to know where I've been, what I'm up to now. I am going to get back to reviewing. I'm going to try to get back to recapping Greenleaf. I really, really liked doing that. I had fun doing it. Also, I am going to be doing a podcast called the Crown Table Podcast. Or something relative to Crown Table. But anyway, that's what I'm calling it right now. The Crown Table, that's what came to me to do with the Crown Table Podcast. What I'm looking for, as I shared on my Facebook blog page, A Mellow Theory, by the way. If you have not liked that page, please like that page and turn on your notifications so you can stay up to date with everything. And also chime into some of our posts and games and stuff. But anyway, so... yeah, what I was saying was with the Crown Table Podcast, and sometimes I still forget what I'm saying a little bit. So that's part of the thing. It's working itself out. But anyway, so yeah, with the Crown Table Podcast, what I'm doing is I am taking different people that might be opposites, right? Because of all the stuff we have going on with social change, so to speak, social issues in the country. We have racial divide, tension, so forth and so on, issues with accepting adversity, diversity, so forth and so on. So what I'm doing with the Crown Table Podcast is I am taking a list of people and I'm going to kind of get a little bit from each one of them to see which ones would actually be the most opposite to interview and talk to each other. I'm going to give them questions that they have to ask and answer with each other. And I want to do this kind of like on a live thing to where we'll have like a video conference where I add them both in and I'm asking them the questions, or they ask each other the questions, or I give a question and they discuss it to kind of hopefully bridge the gap, kind of to show, you know, we might look totally different. We might come from different sides of the track. We might have grew up differently. We might be different cultures. We might be different ethnicities. We might not have anything in common at all in our own lives, but we might even have some of the same goals for this country, for society. And I think it would bridge the gap. I think it would be a good example for us to have uncomfortable conversations to reach a common ground in a respectful manner, because there will not be any disrespect tolerated. We're going to do a positive thing here. Just put it that way. So, yeah. I'm just aiming to bridge a gap. But if you would like to be a part of the Crown Table Podcast, feel free to email me at BellaAfi7. That is BELAAFI, the number 7, at gmail.com. So you can message me on that email to be a part of it, to get details. There will be a consent form that I'm requiring to be signed, and agreement to be done to say that you're accepting, you're not going to be compensated or anything that I'm not liable for anything using your video and podcast, so forth and so on. Just kind of like a release to where I'm not liable. You're not expecting me to pay anything because I'm just asking for volunteers pretty much, and that's it. But yeah, and so another little thing I have coming up, I'm gonna try to do a fundraiser of sorts for the local women's shelter. They take old cell phones, and what they do with the old cell phones is they use them through, they partner with Slater Alliance. I believe that's what I wrote down here. Slater Alliance. And they take these old cell phones and they get funds for the programs and services. Okay? So with that, we all have old cell phones laying around. We have broken cell phones or whatever. It doesn't matter. They take the cell phones that we're not using and they turn them into cash to fund the women's shelter. The women that go there are oftentimes victims of domestic violence, and as some of you know, I am a survivor of domestic violence, and I like to volunteer working with these types of organizations, and this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so this is one thing that I am doing that I want to include others in besides just volunteering my normal ways. So anyway, there's that. I will keep you up to date on that, and hopefully you can donate, and if not, then you're free to let me know and ask how you can donate otherwise, and we will take care of that. Alright, but I'm going to close this out because I didn't want to go over 20 minutes. I really didn't want to go over 15, but I can talk, and we know that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Happy Monday. Be motivated, be you, and be blessed. One love. See you later. Bye.